Okay, let us continue on our chapter. So we're still in section 12, which is the source of life. And I'm going to go ahead and read this paragraph again since this is where we left it off. And then we're going to continue on from there. So, mind. Mind is a system of vibration. The brain is the vibrator, and thought is the organized effect of each particular vibration when expressed through a requisite combination of cells. It is not the number of the cells, but their vibratory adaptability, which gives range to the thoughts of which the mind is capable. So it's not the size of the brain or how many cells are involved in the brain, but the adaptability of each brain cell able to correspond to their vibratory adaptabilities, which would be your thinking, which would be your own mind, because it is this mechanism of attachment to your own personal system of vibrations. It is through the universal mind that the seeds of thought enter the brain of man, so that it conceives thought, which becomes a current of energy, centripetal, which is centered in the mind of man, and centrifugal, which is away from the center, and away in the universal mind. So, thought which becomes a current of energy, centered in the mind of man, and away in the universal mind, moving from. So these seeds of thought have a tendency to germinate, to sprout, and to grow. They thus form what we call ideas. When a mental picture is formed in the brain, the rate of vibration corresponding to that picture is immediately awakened in the ether. It depends, however, upon whether the will or desire principle is acting as to whether that vibration moves inward or outward. So, the vibration would move outward if it was being used by the will, your choices that you make. And the vibration moves inward when it's a desire principle, when it's something that you feel. Okay, it's something that you desire a thing, you have an internal thing for it as to where you go and will things. Okay, you are extending that vibration outward. If the will is used, the vibration moves outward, and the principle of force is put into operation. If the desired nature is awakened, the vibrations move inward, and the law of attraction is put into operation. I desired a kitten, and I attracted that kitten, and then I used the will to put those forces in motion. And when you desire a thing, it comes to pass. When you think about it, it comes to pass, and then you use the will to take action to make it yours. In either case, the law of causation expresses itself through the embodying or creative principle. The time is not far distant when man will be able to make the body immune against disease and arrest the ordinary processes of old age and physical decay, perpetuate youth even after the body has passed the mark of the centuries. Immortality, or perpetual life, is the fondest hope, the legitimate goal and just birthright of every human being. But the majority of people of all religions, and those of no religious belief at all, seem to think that it is to be attained, if at all, at some future time and on some other plane of existence. Every human being who is not sick or insane has an innate desire to live as long as possible. If there is an individual person in the world who does not desire to live, it is because he is in some abnormal condition of body or mind, or expects to be. As a matter of fact, the more highly enlightened and developed the individual, the more intense the desire and longing for life. And it is improbable that there would be a natural desire for something that was impossible of attainment. Professor Jacques Loeb, formerly of the Department of Psychology at the University of California, said several years ago, quote, "Man will live forever when he has learned to establish the right protoplasmic reaction in the body," end quote. Thomas Edison says, quote, "I have many reasons to believe that the time will come when man will not die," end quote. 5/7 of the flesh, 5/7 of the flesh and blood are water, while the substance of the body consists of albumin, fibrin, casein, and gelatin. That is, organic substance composed originally of 4 essential gases: oxygen, nitrogen, hydrogen, and carbonic acid. So 5/7 of the flesh and blood are water. The majority of what we know is water. While the substance of the body consists of albumin, okay, the things of which the body is composed consists of albumin, fibrin, casein, and gelatin. And that is organic substance composed originally of 4. So the original substances of which we are made are the essential gases, which are oxygen, nitrogen, hydrogen, and carbonic acids, while these get together and form albumin, fibrin, casein, and gelatin. Water is a combination of 2 gases, air a mixture of 3 gases. Thus, our bodies are composed of only transformed gases. None of our flesh existed 3 or 4 months ago. Face, mouth, arms, hair, even the very nails. The entire organism is but a current of molecules, a ceaselessly renewed flame, a stream at which we may look all of our lives and never see the same water again. So the person you see yourself today is not the same person you were a year ago. Okay, physically or mentally, okay, your whole body and mind has been renewed. Okay, the person you were last year is not the same person you are today. Even though you might look the same, you know, your thinking is different, your mind is different, you're physically different. Because the body has already recreated itself. These molecules do not touch each other and are continually renewed by means of assimilation, directed, governed, and organized by the immaterial force which animates it. To this force we may give the name soul. So writes the great French astronomer, physicist, biologist, and metaphysician Camille Flammarion. So soul is the same thing as mind, okay, the same thing as spirit. Okay, soul is just the individualization of spirit, you know, like mind, okay, your own personal consciousness, okay, there's the infinite mind, and then there's the individual mind, okay, which is the same in kind of quality, just embodied in its, you know, individual form. You know, that's what Christ is, you know, Christ means the inner light, okay, Christ is a symbol for our spirit within, okay? Christ is simply another name for our individual spark of consciousness. You know, Jesus the Messiah, Jesus the Christ. Christ was a title that was given to him because of the state of enlightenment that he had reached, you know, which was full enlightenment that, hey, we are all Christ. You know, we're all minds, we're all individual embodiments of this universal intelligence, you know, this cosmic presence. So the soul is the material force, or the immaterial force, The soul is the immaterial force which governs and animates the molecules of which your body is made out of. The bridge of life, a symbol of physical regenesis, has been exploited in song, drama, and story. Paracelsus, Pythagoras, okay, it's a name, Paracelsus, Pythagoras, Lycurgus, and Valentine, Wagner, and a long unbroken line of the Illuminati, from time immemorial have chanted their epics in unison with this, quote, riddle of the Sphinx, end quote, across the scroll of which is written, quote, solve me or die, end quote. The solution may lie in an understanding of the nature of the glands which control physical and mental growth and all metabolic processes of fundamental importance. These glands dominate all the vital functions and cooperate in an intimate relationship which may be compared to an interlocking directorate. Remember, the glands are what's responsible for producing, you know, chemical substances within the body, okay, making you feel certain ways. Okay, like we were saying, the only reason why a man is simply because he has more of the chemical testosterone in his body. And the reason why a female is simply because of the chemical estrogen. Okay, both men and women have both testosterone and estrogen in the body. It's simply because men have that much more, like 10 times more testosterone in their body than women do, and women have that much more estrogen in their body than men do. And it's this simple chemical substance is what differentiates the man and woman. Yeah, cool, huh? They furnish the internal secretions, or hormones, which determine whether we are to be tall or short, handsome or homely, brilliant or dull, cross or congenial, or man and woman. Sir William Osler, one of the world's great thinkers, said, quote, "For man's body is a humming hive of working cells, each with its specific functions, all under central control of the brain and heart, and all dependent on secretions from the glands which lubricate the wheels of life." And the wheels of life, if it's not, if they're not connected, but the wheels of life are, another name for our chakra systems, our 7 chakras, the wheels of life. So the secretions from the glands which lubricate the wheels of life. For example, remove the thyroid gland just below the Adam's apple, and you deprive man of the lubricants which enable his thought engines to work. And gradually the stored acquisitions of his mind cease to be available, and within a year he sinks into dementia. The normal processes of the skin cease, and the hair falls, the features bloat, and the paragon of animals is transformed into a shapeless caricature of humanity. So this thyroid gland, okay, it's responsible for lubricating, without the lubricants from the thyroid gland, okay, it deprives man of his thought engines to work, his ability to think as he does, okay, and his mind ceases and will sink into dementia. And the normal processes of the skin will cease, okay, the hair will start to fall out, and he'll start to bloat, and the paragon of animals is transformed into a shapeless caricature of humanity. There are 7 major glands, as well as, how we were saying, as well as 7 major nerve endings along your sympathetic nervous system. The law of sevens, the 7 phases of the moon, the 7 colors of the rainbow, the 7 solfeggio, which is the original music scale, the 7 major frequencies of sound, the 7, I believe I already said 7 colors of the rainbow, the 7 major glands, the 7, nerve endings along the sympathetic nervous system, the 7 planets, the, just 777. So there are 7 major glands: the pituitary, the thyroid, the pancreas, the adrenal, the pineal, the thymus, and the sex glands, which control the metabolism of the body and dominate all vital functions. The pituitary is a small gland located near the center of the head, directly under the 3rd ventricle of the brain, where it rests, in a depression of the bony floor plate of the skull. Its secretions have an important part in mobilizing of carbohydrates, which is the body's main source of energy, maintaining blood pressure, stimulating the other glands, and maintaining the tonicity of the sympathetic nerve system. The tonicity, okay, the flow of the sympathetic nerve system, okay, the system of nerves of the subconscious mind. The pituitary gland, okay, saying it's located near the center of the head, directly under the 3rd ventricle of the brain, where it rests on the bony floor plate of the skull. The pituitary gland is also known as the master gland of the body, because the pituitary gland is the one that tells the thyroid to secrete its thyroid glands. The pituitary gland is the one that tells the pancreas to take in insulin and release glycogen, or yeah, the insulin for taking in carbohydrates for your cells. The pituitary gland is the one that tells the adrenal glands to secrete adrenaline. It's responsible for telling these other glands what to do, which is why it's known as the master gland. Then next we have the thyroid gland, which is located at the frontal base of the neck, extending upward in a short and semicircle on both sides. At the front base of the neck. So the pituitary is over here, not too far away from your pineal, because the pineal is also located at the very center of the brain. The pineal gland is known as the seat of the soul, and that is your mind's eye, which is responsible for your imagination. I've seen a video, they were talking about, just as your physical eyes has rods and cones which allow you to see light, in images and things as they are. It's what allows me to see this mail that I got, in the form of what it is, these rods and cones in the physical eyes. And then the only other organ that has rods and cones are the pineal gland. Okay, but the pineal gland has rods and cones inside of the organ. Okay, it's something that is found inside the walls of the gland. Your third eye. Okay, so the thyroid gland is located at the frontal base of the neck. Okay, so next to your Visuddha chakra. Your throat chakra, that's responsible for communications. Okay, extending upward in a sort of semicircle on both sides. The thyroid secretion is important in mobilizing both proteins and carbohydrates. It stimulates other glands, helps resist infections, affects the hair growth, and influences the organs of the digestion and elimination. It is a strongly determining factor of the all-around physical development, and also in the mental functioning. A well-balanced thyroid will ensure an active, efficient, and smoothly coordinated mind and body. The adrenal glands are located just above the small of the back. These organs have sometimes been called the beauty glands, quote, since one of their functions is to keep the pigments of the body in proper solution and distribution. But the greater importance is the agency of the adrenal glands, adrenal secretions in their directions or in other directions. The secretions contain a most valuable blood pressure agent and are a tonic to the sympathetic nerve system, hence to the involuntary muscles, heart, arteries, and intestines. Okay, so let's say your adrenal glands are responsible for raising your okay. So we learned in NASM about our adrenal glands, okay, how when these hormones, the adrenal hormones, are secreted in the bloodstream, okay, your blood vessels open up, so you have more blood flow. Okay, so you get more oxygen to the cells in your body. So, okay, your lungs start working at a higher pace, so you're supplying more oxygen to your heart. Your heart bumps or beats at a faster pace, so it can provide, the oxygen and everything that it needs throughout the body, because it is through the bloodstream which, your cells get everything that they need, that they get the oxygen, that they get the iron, that they get the carbs, the protein, everything that they need. Okay, and what he's saying, okay, the secretion contains the most valuable blood pressure agent and are a tonic, okay, a tonic, more like a boost, okay, a boost to the sympathetic nerve system, hence to the involuntary muscles, heart, arteries, and intestines. Because remember, those are the things that are under the supervision of the subconscious mind, okay, which